Welcome to Readish channel, where stories are more than just reading. Today we will be examining Paulo Coelho's novel, The Alchemist. Subscribe to the channel and support us with a like.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a single, really powerful narrative, the journey of a shepherd named Santiago, and using it almost like a map.
A map for one of life's biggest questions, right?
Exactly. How do you follow your destiny? Our source material, it details Santiago's quest, which gets kicked off by this strange, recurring dream he has.
A dream about treasure.
A dream about treasure waiting for him at the Great Pyramids. It's almost like a literal blueprint filled with clear omens, some pretty stern warnings, and this incredible mechanic of synchronicity.
And we're framing this whole deep dive around that one central concept, the personal legend.
Right.
But this concept, it isn't abstract. It's a working guidance system. Our mission today is to, quickly pull out those core ideas that Santiago learns.
The practical steps.
The practical steps for identifying your calling, for recognizing the obstacles, both internal and external, that block your path, and then ultimately understanding what it even means to align your personal will with the soul of the world to achieve that legend.
We want to find the answer to why some people act on their heart's deepest desires.
And why so many others just let those dreams expire.
Yeah, exactly. We're distilling the knowledge right from the timeline of his path, focusing on the literal advice he gets, the immediate, sometimes painful challenges he faces, and the really profound philosophical lessons he picks up along the way.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay, so let's unpack this journey. Start with the very first prompt. Santiago has this recurring dream about the pyramids, and he does something many of us, we wouldn't do. He seeks confirmation.
He takes it seriously.
He takes it seriously. He goes to this gypsy woman in Tarifa, and she confirms the dream is real. She says something so profound. Dreams have voices, child. They whisper to those who still believe.
And that phrase right there, that's a huge nugget of insight. If you're hearing the whisper, it's real. But what's so critical about this first interaction is the payment structure.
Oh, yeah?
She verifies the dream. She tells him the treasure is real, but her fee is deferred.
Half of whatever I find buried out there in the desert.
Exactly. No coins up front, no reading fee. It immediately sets up this idea that pursuing your personal legend requires a future commitment, not just, an intellectual curiosity. You only pay the price when you actually succeed.
It's an investment in belief, really. And his path gets affirmed again, even before he sells his sheep. He goes to the local church, talks with Father Alonso.
Right.
And Santiago had chosen to be a shepherd instead of a priest, but the father assures him his own father supported that decision. And then he drops this detail that we really need to bookmark.
The sycamore tree.
The sycamore tree. Father Alonso mentions that Santiago's father left you a few gold coins buried near the sycamore tree downhill from this church.
And that is the first real omen. It's this foundational detail that shows how the universe kind of prepares the resources for your journey. It often hides them in plain sight or puts them right at your starting point.
But the real catalyst, the thing that really launches him, is the arrival of the King of Salem.
This figure just appears out of nowhere.
And establishes this instant, undeniable credibility. He knows Santiago's deepest, most personal facts, his full name, his parents' names, Manuel and Cristina Garcia.
It's the universe basically saying, I see you, I know who you are, and I know your purpose.
But the king doesn't offer gentle encouragement, does he? He's very blunt. He tells Santiago, you must go to the pyramids to fulfill your personal legend. But here's the tough part.
The cost of entry.
The cost of entry. The king insists Santiago has to sell your sheep. Even Luna, his gentlest friend. I have to ask, why such an immediate, drastic sacrifice? Isn't that just designed to discourage most people?
Well, you'd think so, but that's where the analysis really deepens. The king, as this, let's say, archetype of a divine calling, he recognizes what the sheep represent.
Comfort, security.
Exactly. Comfort, security, a predictable future. They are the good life that is the enemy of the great life. The personal legend demands this immediate, non-negotiable sacrifice of present comfort because, you can't truly commit to the desert if you have a comfortable return ticket in your pocket.
So you have to burn the boats.
You have to burn the boats. And in return for that massive sacrifice, the king gives him Urim and Thummim.
The two stones.
Right. The universe doesn't leave you totally defenseless, but it gives you different kinds of tools. Urim and Thummim aren't maps. They're tools for accessing, non-rational guidance.
For when you're in doubt.
For when the path gets dark and doubt creeps in, you use them for simple binary answers. They're a confirmation that when you stop relying on physical comfort, you gain access to spiritual guidance.
It's a perfect setup. The journey requires this huge, immediate sacrifice, but the universe gives you tools for guidance. But that guidance doesn't mean protection from pain, which Santiago learns almost immediately.
And this brings us to that first major lesson, the lesson of pain. Santiago starts his journey with enough funds. He even notes he has enough money to take me to the pyramids and back to Spain.
He has a safety net.
He thinks he does. Yet, almost right away, he's robbed by a false guide who exploits his trust in Tangier. He loses everything.
So this first setback is an external blow. It teaches him the reality that, the world can be dangerous, and trusting the wrong people has a really steep cost.
He has nothing.
And he ends up taking refuge cleaning crystals for a man named Mr. Jaziri, a local merchant. He works there for a year, helps the business boom, earns his money back. But this is where the second, much more subtle lesson comes in.
The lesson of regret.
Yeah.
And what's so fascinating about the crystal merchant is that he survived the world's attack, right? But he succumbed to an internal paralysis. Santiago asks him why he never fulfilled his own personal legend, making the pilgrimage to Mecca a cornerstone of his faith.
And Mr. Jaziri reveals this paralyzing fear, but it's not the fear of failure, which is what most of us worry about.
He feared success.
He feared success.
Precisely. Mr. Jaziri says, what if I succeed? Once I've lived my dream, what will I have left? No, I prefer the dream itself. It keeps me alive. And that is such a profound psychological insight for the listener.
Right. He'd rather hold on to the potential of the dream, the hope it provides, that illusion of purpose, than risk the emptiness of achieving it and having nothing left to strive for.
He traded his destiny for the comfort and the predictability of his little crystal shop.
So we see the danger of stagnation, right, in your career, in your life, where the familiar becomes a prison. For the listener, this means asking, what comfortable, secure yet ultimately unfulfilling life are you clinging to that's stopping you from taking the next risk?
That's exactly it. Mr. Jaziri is this cautionary tale of someone who prefers to watch life through a shop window rather than actually living it. And Santiago now faces that choice. Go back to Spain with the money, live a comfortable but small life.
Or press on toward Egypt.
And this is that critical moment where he chooses to act on his heart, unlike the men who only talk about their dreams.
Okay, so once Santiago leaves the safety of the crystal shop, he joins a caravan and heads out into the desert. And this is where he meets the Englishman.
A man obsessed with alchemy, the pursuit of understanding the universal language of the world.
And this feels like a turning point, where Santiago's journey shifts from, external action to more of an internal understanding.
It really is. The Englishman is looking for the alchemist, who they hear lives in the Alfam Oasis. And the connection between Santiago and the Englishman seems so destined.
Because they both have Urim and Thummim.
They both realize they possess Urim and Thummim. The king's tools are now connecting him to his next teacher. It's like the universe is checking their IDs to confirm they're supposed to meet.
That's a great way to put it.
It just confirms this idea of synchronicity in action. The world literally conspires to bring the right resources and people together once you are fully committed.
But then, at the oasis, he runs into the biggest temptation yet.
Love.
Love. He meets Fatima, a woman of the desert, and he immediately considers abandoning the whole quest. He says, I want to settle down, build a home.
And this is that internal conflict we all face, right? You find something good, something that makes you happy on the path. Why should you keep going?
Why keep suffering in the desert if you've found paradise in the oasis?
And this is where the alchemist steps in with this crucial warning, and he links it directly back to Mr. Jaziri.
The crystal merchant.
Yes. The alchemist tells Santiago, you might be happy for a year, but by the next, your thoughts will turn to the treasure again. And then, critically, by the third year, your obsession with your personal legend will grow, and Fatima, she will love you still, but it will be an empty love shadowed by your restlessness.
Wow. He's basically saying that an unfulfilled destiny is a poison. It will inevitably infect even the purest love.
You can't offer someone your true self if a part of you is still out there in the desert chasing a treasure.
And Fatima gets it.
She does. And this is so important. Fatima, because she is a woman of the desert, she recognizes this deep truth. She encourages him to go, promising to wait because, as she says, women of the desert are used to seeing their men go.
She understands that true love demands he fulfills his personal legend first.
Exactly.
So this sets the stage for the final push. Santiago agrees to go, and the alchemist makes this incredible promise. He's going to teach him alchemy in only 7 days.
7 days for the ultimate knowledge. And the alchemist tells him those 7 days will feel like a single day. Because, and this is the core teaching, time decays the body Santiago, but the soul remains immortal.
He adds that old dreamers are only young souls trapped in frail bodies.
Which is such a powerful idea.
Yeah.
The knowledge is already inside you. Alchemy isn't about learning new formulas. It's about stripping away fear and hesitation until your immortal soul can access the knowledge it already has.
And this is where that concept of synchronicity goes from being a philosophical idea to a functional mechanism. It's not just a lucky coincidence.
No, not at all. The alchemist teaches that people always know what they must do, but they decide not to because of fear. When you eliminate that internal conflict, when you truly, with your entire being, desire something, the external world must respond. That is the promise.
When you truly want something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it.
That's the one. This harmony of will and world is the engine of synchronicity. For you, the listener, this means when you fully commit, the resources, the people, the opportunities, even if they look like painful setbacks, they will show up to move you forward.
And we see the ultimate test of this alignment when they're suddenly confronted by these armed travelers.
Right. And the alchemist challenges Santiago to prove he is an alchemist by transforming into the wind.
Which is not about turning lead into gold. It's about transforming the self.
Exactly. And Santiago does it. He successfully performs the act, which he later describes as touching a fragment of transcendence. This confirms his alignment with the soul of the world. He learns that he doesn't just read the omens.
He's part of the system that creates the omens.
Yes. It's the ultimate validation that his will has merged with the universal will.
So after this incredible test, the alchemist leaves him, and Santiago finally reaches the pyramids. He declares his name, Santiago Garcia. He starts digging, but the journey gives him one last cruel lesson.
He's beaten and robbed again by thieves.
Right at the finish line.
But this final act of pain, this last piece of external suffering, provides the ultimate internal instruction. One of the thieves, mocking Santiago for traveling all this way because of a foolish dream, reveals his own recurring dream.
A treasure.
A treasure buried beneath a sycamore tree near a crumbling church in Spain.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
The destination, the entire journey across the desert, it was all just to extract that one piece of information.
The information that the treasure was waiting exactly where his journey began.
The physical treasure was always there, at his starting line, near the coins that Father Alonso mentioned years earlier.
The pyramids weren't the treasure, they were the classroom. He had to travel all that distance, endure all that loss, and gain all that wisdom to learn the final, most crucial omen which pointed him right back home.
And after this, just astonishing revelation, a silent, powerful voice addresses Santiago. It confirms its presence throughout his entire life. It identifies itself as his guidance, the king, his lesson, the pain and the robbery, his hesitation, Mr. Jaziri, and his love, Fatima. The voice confirms, I was here before your birth, and I shall remain long after your death.
So what does this all mean then? The journey to the pyramids was never actually about the physical gold. It was the process of learning to read the omens, eliminating that internal fear and understanding the universal language, the soul of the world.
The real treasure was the knowledge he gained on the path.
Exactly. And that knowledge is what ultimately led him back home to the physical gold, which he couldn't have appreciated or probably even accessed without the wisdom he gained traveling to Egypt.
We started with a dream and ended with this profound realization that the quest for destiny is circular. The universe sets the stage for the journey, knowing the treasure is at the starting line.
But it requires you to take the long way around to become the person who is capable of receiving it. The alchemist taught Santiago that old dreamers are only young souls trapped in frail bodies. We know the soul is immortal, constantly pushing for its personal legend. So if the body decays but the soul is immortal, what current hesitation or fear might you, the listener, be indulging in that is trapping your own soul's quest? If the universe has already conspired to help you, what is the sycamore tree in your life, that treasure waiting at your starting point that you are currently too distracted or maybe just too afraid to dig up?